Don't be surprised if this turns out to be one of those strange stream of consciousness videos. I can't be sure what tea this is or what journal it is. I don't have my stuff in front of me, so you can see I'm in the car. Um, but I had this thought on the way down here, and I thought I'd record it. It seems like it would be a good thing to do. It has to do with uh, what occurred to me in the car was something I could call the have to illusion. The illusion that there's something that you have to do. Now, realistically, there are things that all of us have to do. I mean, there are things that must be done, and some of those things are things that only you can do. And I recognize that, and I don't have a problem with that. I know what I have to do with regard to the transplant. For instance, I know how careful I have to be. I know how mindful I have to be. I know how aware of my circumstances and surroundings I have to be, and I don't have a problem with that. Um, Maybe I should. I don't, but I don't. I really don't. It's something I've gotten quite used to, and it's okay. But there are all kinds of other things that come up in the course of a day, come up in the course of a week, a month, a year, that we feel like we have to do. Um, and perhaps that goes back to the Eisenhower box, urgent, important, not urgent, not important, urgent and important. What was called the Eisenhower box, developed by President General Eisenhower at the time. But realistically, there's a whole universe of stuff that we feel like we have to do that I'm not sure we have to do. I just don't. I just don't know that that's the case. I don't know that that's realistic, and I think it's important that we owe it to ourselves to figure out what those things are, and if they're not urgent and important, if they're not critical, um, at least devote a little bit of time to figuring out how important they really are and how urgent they really are and whether or not we should be doing them, and perhaps spending a couple of minutes thinking about all the other things that we could do if we opened up that time um, for things that were going to present a greater value to all of us. I mean, not only to ourselves, but to the people that are close to us, the people all around us. And I don't know that we think about stuff like that often enough, probably not as often as we should. I know I probably don't. I also think it would be a good idea when we're talking about the have to illusion, the illusion that we really have to do things that we don't really have to do, um, that we document those things that we really do have to do, and recognize that those are the things that give us the greatest benefit. Those are the things that benefit those around us most. And I think if you start to think about that, if you start to figure that out, if you start to really devote the time and the energy and the thought that it deserves, you may just realize, as I did, even if it was only on the ride down here, to the parking lot, um, where I'm recording this right now, that most of the good stuff, most of the stuff that you have to do, has to do with service in the broadest sense to other people, service to your community, service to your family, to your friends, if you're in business, to your business. In other words, it's the most beneficial things that are part of the have to are things that benefit the greatest number of people other than yourselves. They're unselfish things. And I think maybe that's worthy of consideration to some degree as well. Um, Realistically, I'd be interested certainly in what you think about this idea of a have to. Certainly versus a want to. And I've made that distinction in my writing and my speaking many times before. And certainly in figuring out that in many cases our lives are much too filled, or filled too close to the top with have tos and not want tos. So think about that. In the meantime, stay safe, stay strong, stay focused, stay well, and probably stay home. I say that as I sit here in the car. But this is a safe environment. I mean, it's an environment that I can control. It's an environment I keep sterile for the most part. And take care.